Hi, guys. My name is Danielle. I am an empath coach and healer. And I wanted to talk a little bit about shadow work with you guys because that is something I focus on a great deal in my practice. So I just wanted to give you guys some tips or advice around how to deal with things as they come up. So let's get started. First and foremost, I want to congratulate everybody that's here today. It's not easy at all. Delving into your shadows. It is scary and it is hard. Um, yeah, I mean, there are shadows for a reason. A lot of times we repress things that we don't want to deal with, or we repress things that are too painful. So these are the things that are going to be coming up for you in shadow work sessions. A big part of shadow work, too, is learning not to push away different pieces of ourselves. So, like, I used to be an addict, and I hate that part of myself. But the only way to heal that part of me was to love it, was to love, appreciate, and respect everything that that version of me had to go through to learn the lessons. And it sucked, and it was really hard. But through this type of work, I was able to get to the other side of it. So that's why I want to share it with all of you. So now I want to talk a little bit about how our body holds on to trauma, or what trauma even is. So what do you think of when you hear the word trauma? For me, I used to think they were these huge life events, you know, like tower moments, if any of you do tarot, or just all this upheaval, sudden impacts, something that really threw you for a loop. It affected so many people, right? Like 9/11 or, abuse or those types of things. But trauma is so much more than these big events. Yes, all of that is still trauma. But trauma can also be a simple emotion. Trauma is any time we have an intense emotion, and as empaths, we have a lot of them, and we choose to hold on to that or we push it down. A lot of times it's because we were told it wasn't okay to be sensitive. It wasn't okay to feel these things. A lot of us grew up in an invalidating environment, so we don't even know how to process our emotions because we were just told they were bad. If any of you can relate to this, I'm super sorry that that's how you grew up, but this is the first step to healing all of it and really stepping into your power, and that really excites me. So I just want to talk about that because, see, okay, so we have all these layers of our energy body, 5, right? So when we experience an intense emotion, it kind of creates this like energy ball because everything is made of energy, right? So let's say I raise my hand when I'm in 3rd grade to ask a question. Everybody laughs at me. Even the teacher makes a comment that makes me crawl up inside of myself. So when this happens, the shame and the embarrassment and the guilt that I feel and how intensely I feel that energy ball gets lodged between 2 of the layers of my energy body. Now, energy cannot freely flow through my body because there's this huge energy ball in the way. But inside this ball is that story in 3rd grade, putting my hand up. So a lot of times when we dig into our shadows, we're going to start feeling things in our body, okay? So let's say you're writing on something and you start to get that feeling. You really want to stay grounded and in your body for the entire session where you're doing shadow work, because that's going to give you all of your clues. So let's say I'm writing on something and I start to get a really uncomfortable feeling in my belly. Well, what I want to do is focus on that feeling. I want to really ground into that feeling, really get like in a space where I want to explore. I don't want to judge the feeling. I don't want to label the feeling. Right now, I just want to be curious and I want to explore. It's a really good idea to get your journal out when you start feeling things like that coming up. Okay, so I'm writing on something. I feel this in my belly. I get my journal out. Okay, so now I want to close my eyes and really, really go into that feeling. Really focus on it. if you can, if you feel safe enough to, try to turn up that feeling a little bit. Really allow yourself to really feel everything that's coming to the surface. Any thought that's coming up, let yourself feel that completely. You want to do your very best at this point not to push anything away. Remain curious. And at this point, when you start to write about what you're starting to feel, you're asking your body questions like, what did this come from? Why am I holding on to this? What is that story inside this ball of energy that I feel in my belly? Focus on that. Meditate for a minute on that. And a lot of the time, sometimes it's tough to do this without being guided on your own, but it's absolutely possible. But what you can do is uncover that story that gave you that trauma. So you just want to, again, be non-judgmental of anything that comes up here, because it's really important that you give yourself that permission. For me, I know that was hard because I immediately want to label things like, this is what I'm feeling, this is why I'm feeling it. But I've learned that that's really just not the best way. So if you can notice the story that comes up here, that's beautiful. Write it down, come back to it and think of it later, or think about it later. It's really a personal experience. So if anybody experiences anything that comes up for them and they do not want to deal with it, or they're really having trouble getting deep enough to deal with it, I would invite you guys to reach out to me. So I have a process in place to help us bypass the conscious mind and get to the subconscious, which is really where we hold all of our trauma. So it can be really hard to uncover consciously. But if you're still feeling like there's something there and you can't get to it, you might just need to have somebody guide you through your subconscious into your shadows. And that is what I do. So let me just kind of tell you a little bit about how sessions work. So I start sessions by doing a limiting belief scan and a check-in. So for your limiting belief scan, we ask questions directly to your body or to your soul with muscle testing. And then after we get your list of limiting beliefs, I will regress you back to the point where you picked up those limiting beliefs, so I can help you get back there, and then you can finish processing the emotions around it. Along with this, we're left with beautiful learnings from your guides and from your higher self. It really is. It's a beautiful process. This method alone has changed my life. I'm super excited to share it with people. It was life-changing for me and life-changing for anybody I have ever had the pleasure to work with. So I wish you guys so much luck on this journey that you're embarking onto. It is scary sometimes and it is crazy sometimes, but I promise it is so, so worth it. And you are going to come out of this feeling like a better person, feeling lighter, and having awareness around the things that were in your way. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will post my info or give it to Elise so that she can give it to you guys. But I'm just super excited for all of you. I'm super excited to be here and support you on this journey in the best way that I can.